Namaste and welcome, beloved, mighty companions. The light brigade shining. Those who are called to hear Jesus's voice and speak it through them. Everyone's called, as he said, few will listen. Few will truly listen to his words and be so guided by him to guide through this, the muck and the mire of miscreation. Oh my gosh, those mighty companions get more precious every day. So grateful that we can look together and that we have this voice. And I just wrote up a little download from Jesus on how to join, like literally all the words he said. And I just put them in a little thing. We're just going to proof them and get them out for the Joining in Light Brigade, so everyone knows what to do. And it's really specific instructions about how to join with him. To honor that we can hear him and that he's going to be working. He wasn't kidding. You know, when I first typed that in that book, and like I said, it was for me, ask me 300 times. Well, that's for everyone. That everyone is going to be able to have a conversation. And we're going to start recording some of those who are willing. We're going to record these joinings so you can see it. You just won't. It's just so stunning when you start hearing the brothers talk, the Jesus talk right there. Not from a, some idea about it, but from directly from what Jesus is telling them. Because we're all one. So we can all hear Jesus. And so when we're joining, that is just the opportunity to listen to what he's telling you, speak it out your mouth. Because I can see why he's doing this, because we don't want to speak it. And we can practice on each other, with each other. He's giving us that to get past this idea, one, that we can't hear him. Like he knows we can hear him. And you may even hear him tell you that you can hear me. Because he's getting really direct. He's going, here, I'm giving you a direct way. I'm going to work with you directly. And the level of clarity you'll start to notice with being able to hear him, because we're opening up to the receptivity of that and how much he can help with those miracles and picking the miracles. And he's really being clear to ask me which miracles would be performed. So like when you sit down with the brothers and you join and you ask them to invite them in and focus on the light, and then ask them, like, not even assume what miracle is needed. What do I need to see? Because the ego was going to toss out the kitchen sink. And he's going to bring us right to the pinpoint. Like I said earlier, like he's going to draw, like, here are all the thoughts out there and the conglomeration, confusion. And it'll be like, he'll go, look right here. Look right exactly there. It's so stunning to see, really, when you start asking him, and he'll go, what you really need to look at is this. Okay. What you really desire is this. Okay. And just admit it and just go, oh yeah, you're so right. I do want that. It's like such a powerful extension. And to ask them who to join with. That's another thing we're asking. He says in the instructions, ask me first whether you're to join with the mighty or to join with me. He'll tell us what's most helpful, and to really be open to the mighties that he's saying for us to join with. Teresa wrote this, so we'll just look at this. I really appreciate these questions because I see they're for all of us. I'm starting to feel how heavy a burden all these roles I've boxed myself in with: friend, daughter, sister, employee, but mostly mother role. And we can ask him, Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, starting with the light, did I assign myself a bunch of roles so that I didn't have to look to see that I don't have any role? Are these roles all here to deny who I am? Okay, I'm just willing. Jesus, will you show me any roles that I've carried, these heavy backpacks They're concepts. Let's ask the light. Or roles that we play in the world, concepts. They're self-enslavement. The most important thing to see, though, here out of all of that is, can anyone or anything of this world stop us from seeing that we're infinite light right now? See that nothing outside ourselves can prevent us to see this very moment that infinite light is here. There's not a single thing, because that's what the ego plays. It plays a little game of, I can't see who I am, because remember, can't is always won't. I won't see who I am. I don't want to see who I am. Like, we have to get, he's really getting specific about the language. I feel happy. I feel sad. I have a desire to feel sad. I have a desire, you know, he's just really go to the desire, straight desire. It saves so much time. And we don't have to live in the unhappiness. We don't have to anyway, but it's really helpful to see, let those be the wake-up call. Instead of hitting the snooze button and avoiding how we feel, we call, I need help. Show me. And he's reminded me when I was typing up those instructions, it's like, I will always tell you not to make the error real, because we love doing that. Because we make the error real, we can have a sneak in a little more delay. We can let our fingers hit the snooze button. If we make the error real, see that trick? Error's not real. We just want to play like it is so we can hit the snooze button for longer. That's the clue. So he's going to say, don't make the error real. Join in an instant of light with me. Ask me what new miracle is needed here, because we assume. I can see that. Boy, did I play that game. I mean, it's helpful because we're willing to look. So it's like, it's a starting point. We're willing to look. But don't be assumed. And it's so fantastic when he comes and say, no, that's not what you need to look at. You need to look at this. It's so specific. It's just right on point. Of course he's on point. He's always right. And he knows which bones need to come up first. That sounds not so good, but it's freedom. Worth doing. Because when we look directly at desire and admit it, he's saying that's the skids to the miracle. But you'll just start to notice how many times you abjectly do not want a miracle. And he's going to show us how many times we avoid miracles or want to get control over miracles. That's why he keeps saying, and he says in that sheet too, he says, this is why miracles can, I'm telling you, miracles should not be under conscious control. You have to let me, I'm in charge of the atonement. You have to let me decide. That's giving Christ control every miracle for you. Which ones to perform. I'm seeing how that is the fast way, but that's what consciousness doesn't want to do. It want to even try to control miracles. So we're going to look at this. We're going to continue with chapter 20, of course, and the attack is such a good topic. It's not a happy topic for the ego, but it's good for us, good for infinite love. Going into this, I've boxed myself into roles. So this is really good to see. Rather, in the light of divine being, any role is real. That's why Jesus gives us a couple of other roles to be thinking about. One, instead of the role of the, who am I because I have kids or cousins, aunts, uncles, those are name tags. Our name tags who we are. That's what the ego would pretend. So I'm starting to feel how heavy a burden all these roles I boxed myself in. Everybody could probably raise their hand. They had a role they boxed themselves. This is the best part of the light circle. I admit it, Jesus. This is what these circles are going to turn into. It'll be so much fun. It's like, okay, do we have a desire, buddy? Raise your hand. Do we have an... Yeah. But he's saying that will grease the skids as soon as you like admit it, the denial. See, because we're denying the denial, we're admitting the denial. But here's a little helpful turnaround just to think about on how to look at these things. I have a head and burden, all these roles I have boxed myself in. So first of all, we see the tightness of the role. Okay, so Jesus is saying, so I have a decision to play all these roles. I assign myself these roles. The ego assigns them so I can deny that I have no role other than perfect happiness. That gets really simple. Asking for help and following guidance never felt like an option because the mind was always too busy trying to work it all out. So the mind is busy trying to deny that it's love. That's why the mind's busy. The mind is busy to deny that salvation's already here through roles. But it's very interesting. See, we can be really the last mimsy and get curious about this. This is really interesting. See that in consciousness, how the roles that are assigned always are reminiscent of the father. See, the mother, now the role is to have a mother and a father in children, just like the father in heaven has a son. It's very interesting. And that the two, seemingly two, male and female, want to come together to join. Even though we can't join through bodies, you can see the symbolism. In a wedding ceremony, let no man, I forget the words, what is it? Let no man divide this, basically, hold asunder, or whatever those words are. You can see I paid close attention. But, and the wedding ring is a circle of gold, see, unending. So all the symbols are in form. It's just the misuse of the form, and we're not going to be happy. But so she's so right. Asking for help and following guidance never felt like an option. My desire not to use guidance as an option to get me out of this fix, that's what it is. We just didn't see it till now. I decided not to follow guidance. I decided to feel really busy rather than look to see I can be guided. That's all. We're just retranslating it so we can see it, right? So we're grateful for Teresa for providing this so we can all look. The whole deal of fulfilling roles feels like a roller coaster. Praise the Lord. Listen to what she's saying. She's seeing the whole deal of fulfilling roles feels like a roller coaster guilt ride. Who knows that ride? The roles playing the daughter, and doing things because, okay, this is what a good grandmother looks like. This is what a good mom looks like. So let's just ask the light, are we complicit in these roles? Who made the roles? But what's so great about this, and please remind me to see I'm always at peace when I ask and follow. Yes, we love you, Teresa. We know we're always at peace together. And why we've come together to see that we're going to unwind from these roles, that these roles are not our home, and see how really heavy they are. And how we must follow Jesus and guidance. The light training. Go to the light first. Ask the light. Ask the light. Because I have no idea what is most helpful, even though I still think I should. See, everyone's trying to leave the unhappy holodeck. We're all trying to get off of there. But we can't get off the holodeck, one, until we admit we created the holodeck. Miscreation, and that we're innocent, to see that we're innocent. And Dyra said the same thing. The family roles have been surfacing and there's a sense of deep responsibility. Oh, praise the Lord. Let's look at that. Okay, so we can all relate to, so it's a desire. Let's ask Jesus, is there a desire to have a sense of responsibility so we can hide from the only true responsibility that we have? Can you see what that desire for responsibility does? Feel the desire for responsibility so we can ask Jesus about that thing. Feel how heavy that is. It makes you want to throw up, actually. How heavy a sense of responsibility is. But we have to see that we really want it. Okay, Jesus, I'm willing to see any responsibility that I'm playing in. See, it's a play in consciousness to not look at the only thing we're responsible for is to see the miscreation. See how that's like avoidance. It's a form of avoidance of just looking to say, wait a minute. I'm just responsible for admitting I miscreated a world that can't happen. That's my only responsibility. Your only function is completion. He doesn't say your only function is to have a family. He doesn't say your only function is to be a doctor, lawyer, or an Indian chief. It's not, that can be a play in consciousness, but it's a play. It's not, it's a character in a movie. It's not you. He's just saying, it's just see that it's not you. You can never be happy. So if we're feeling trapped, it's actually a great thing. If we feel trapped in a role, why? Because we're starting to see the miscreation. It's not a happy place to be. See, so we can admit that feeling, I feel trapped because I desire an experience of feeling trapped. See, it's the key. He's given us the key to unlock the gate to heaven, to see that it's never been locked. But the key that we tried to make family roles and toss away the memory that we're not our family roles. Does the light have any family roles in there? Can we find any? But just start feeling the heaviness. What's really true around the heaviness about family vacations or family. This is not going to be a popular talk for some, but just look at it. We're just curious. We're the last Mimsy. We're just those little kids, 4 and 5, however old they were. They were so adorable. We're just on the beach and we're just kind of looking and going, something going on here that I need to look at. I'm just going to be curious and see, is this true? Am I really feeling trapped? Can this really be a clue that I need help getting out of this? I created a scenario where I'm going to feel obligated, feel a sense of obligation, a sense of responsibility, like Darius, I hope I'm saying your name, Dara is saying, I feel responsible to not, and then that's the play. That's the play, to not be responsible for accepting that we're denying the denial of divinity. So where to start with that? Join with Jesus, the light, as we're doing every day in these light circles, to go, okay, Jesus, I need to see what's true and follow. We follow guidance. And sometimes that's not going to be for the beings that are subject to the laws of the world. It's not going to look good. You see, because we created those laws too. So we can use them as an excuse not to follow guidance. Some of these roles are death to spirit. They really are. They're really death. We think they're like so happy and so wonderful and all that kind of stuff. It's death to spirit. We make them to have I can know that. I mean, I'm in gratitude to my family now. So much healing, but I can see how, as I look back, I can see they were made for a sense of safety. It was like, well, if this happens, I always can go and live with my brother Jew. You just start seeing that. Or if something happens to me, I have this brother, that sister, my mom, they can all take care of me. It was like this false sense of security through family, when our only security is being able to hear that voice like ring like a bell. And we all can. And it's really, again, it's already being demonstrated to these joinings that we're having, that when we ask, we're really answered, and we can all hear him just as clear as Helen. That's his promise right through a new covenant, and it's really becoming fulfilled. It's all my mind, so the mind here. So there's always only one solution. Ask Jesus. You're feeling well, first of all, please remind me to see me. I am always at peace when I ask and follow because I had no idea what is most helpful. That's the first place to start and ask the one who knows. Because we see in the light of divine being, we have no role whatsoever. So it really is guidance. And I can see that the light circles that I mentioned this are really heading into joining with each other about decision making. First, join with Jesus. And if you're not clear, then join with a brother for really looking to see what the guidance is so that you have a support structure. We have support from our brother because some of the guidance may not be conventional in this world, but it's the only path to happiness. And if you really look deep, it's like, you'll see beings that really look, they can look beneath it and see, oh, I wasn't really happy in that relationship. They weren't happy anyway, but they didn't want to look because they were grabbing hold to something for security or all the reasons that the ego holds on to something. And it really wasn't serving them. It wasn't serving higher purpose. So yeah, these family roles, that would be great topics for the joining circle. To join with your brother on and say, this, I feel a sense of responsibility or whatever it is, and just really explore that together with Jesus. Ask Jesus to come in and help. And it may come in to continue in satsang or light circles for us to continue look at family roles, maybe given by Jesus. Just remember who your daddy is, who the light is. The light doesn't have roles. No roles. He doesn't give us any other roles. We're infinite light first. And our only responsibility is to see who we are in this lifetime and to cease to deny it. Honesty of God. Marguerite writes, it feels right to express that I admit I really want to blame God for everything. Oh gosh, that's a familiar, that desire that plays in consciousness to have something outside of ourselves causing all the trouble that we experience. That's a really good one to look with Jesus. Is there any desire below our level of awareness to blame God for everything? And hear the answer. Yeah. Okay, can you show me that desire? I'm willing to admit it. I need a miracle in blaming God for everything. So since we're synonymous with God, we know where the buck stops. Are we synonymous with God? Let's ask the light. So who are we blaming for everything? Do you see that? Who are we blaming? We're the same as God. So we're blaming ourselves. So let's ask the light. Is this a means by which we deny divinity? To find blame. So then we go to Jesus. Jesus, he's decoding everything. When I say that I want to blame someone, I desire the experience of blame. Help me. Okay, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to blame someone? Okay, then let him fully reveal it. I accept it completely. Because see, the acceptance of the desire is to say we're wrong. And saying we're wrong is willingness to see things another way. Okay, Jesus, now, I see that desire to blame God for everything. I admit it. I really want to blame God and myself and my brother. We can stack them all in there unless he tells us. He might tell you to break them out and do each one. So you can see that they're all the same and they're all the same death wish. Because again, he'll put his finger right on the thing you need to look at. But let's just blame God for everything. And let's ask Jesus, what's below the desire to blame God for everything? What I hear is that wanting to be more powerful than God. Actually, that's what's coming. Now, thank Marguerite for saying that, because that's all below all the ideas of personal identity. So it's for all of us that she's sharing that and asking for help. So let's just ask the light, is blaming true? Does that exist in the light of divine being? Can we find that somewhere? So what's below the desire for the experience of blame? Oh, no, saying no to ourselves. We were talking about that today. It's coming up again, the desire to say no. We want to say no to divine ourselves as divine being. That's all it is. That was great. That was so great. Marguerite was saying Jesus told her that. She's saying, you know, my mind, I've been doing this, trying to look with Jesus, and my mind will just wander off. And you know how I was talking about how, you know, we want to order pizza, instead of really this deep look with Jesus, there are all these distractions. And she said, Jesus just told me it's all the same thing. It's just no. just it's a big no to ourselves as divine being. You know, you can lump them all in one category. Jesus just sums it up. Just start thinking of it as a big no. So it's just a no to ourselves. And as soon as we admit it's a no to ourselves, things get really simple. Jesus, I'm saying no to myself. Like it breaks the code that there's a billion different things happening: blame, sorrow, frustration, you know, anger, all those things can just, like, you know, he's condensing it down, making it really simple. Those are all no to who you are. Let's look. Okay, Jesus, do I have a desire to say no to? Let's ask him. Jesus, do I have a desire to say no to myself as divine being? And hear that, yes. And then we admit it. Oh, Jesus, I need a miracle. Is this a good place for a miracle? See, we're asking about the miracles, and he goes, yes. I can hear him say yes. So then, okay, I'd like a change in perception on that. That's it. Simple as that. Oh, yes. And he says, and follow me in guidance. He never leaves me. He never leaves guidance. That's a form of learning how to be guided by him, this working on these desires. But it's really it's a 24/7 gig. There's no way to get away from that. We've talked about that here. It's a 24/7, be attentive to true identity function. It can't be a part-time. Well, it can be. Some beings make it a part-time, but they'll also be part-time. He goes full-time suffering, because we're still siding with less than our whole identity. So can never truly be happy. See, it's toe dipping. It's toe dipping. So we talked about attack. Let's see how we're doing. Got a few more minutes to look at a few more things here from, these are all great topics, by the way. Yeah, Christy was mentioning, it's coming to mind now. She's talking about, we were talking about journaling, and there is a way to really use journaling powerfully. And that is to listen to what Jesus is telling you and then write it down. Ask him a question, then listen and write down what he says, and ask him a question. And you're going to say, oh, I can't hear it. Yes, you can. You are going to be so amazed with what you start writing on that piece of paper. So amazed. And it'll help with the discernment for hearing that voice. And again, that's what's happening with us joining. We're really practicing. Okay, what is Jesus saying? And you'll see it in the little handout I'll send for the joining. Jesus, what are you telling me? And it's just so beautiful and stunning, because it's our true voice speaking, and we're going to know it when we hear it. We're so used to that other voice and giving that other voice full power over us. Like the voice that says, you believe retaliation is possible. You desire and experience being retaliated against. Okay. Jesus, will you help me through this whole idea of retaliation? Is this a good place for a miracle? Okay, so he says, yes. You desire an experience of being retaliated against. Is there any desire to feel retaliation or being retaliated against? Again, these are all different forms of attack, but this is how sneaky the delusion is. It's so sneaky. It plays in so many different ways. They sound the same. Yeah, like someone said to me or typed, why do you need to reinterpret, or I forgot what a retranslation of what's in A Course in Miracles? What? Because that's what this is. It's there's no good words for it. He just takes the belief and tells us what the desire is. Well, I don't know why it's needed for. I know why it's needed for me. Because I needed it to be as direct and between the eyes as he could make it, to see where I was saying no to myself. The Reader's Digest version of all the ways to say no, 50,000 ways to say no to yourself, 50,000 ways to leave the love of your life, which is God. I needed the translation, and I'll take it. It's worked really well so far. You believe retaliation is possible. You desire an experience being retaliated against. You desire an experience of retaliating against others. Okay, let's just ask. You desire an experience retaliating against yourself. That's what he just said. Okay, let's look at that one. To hold yourself hostage and responsible for creating this world, rather than see that nothing happened. See, you could add that to the end of every single desire. You desire an experience of being retaliated against, rather than look with the light to see that retaliation is impossible. So you desire an experience retaliating against others, rather than looking with me, Jesus, to see that retaliation does not exist. That's what he's saying. So true. It's like we got to admit it. Yes, that's true. Because like he says in the Course, you would rather death. You'd rather death than talk to him. Ask Jesus, would I rather death than talk to you? Than talk to the life than I am? Because that's the play in consciousness, to play dead rather than hear the light. It's so convoluted. It's really so convoluted. There's no way out without him. So like, it was really interesting. Like, we were looking at a belief today, the desire to feel wrong. Jesus, is there a desire for an experience below my level of awareness to feel wrong? Now, here's the twist on this one that he brought into my awareness. Obviously, I needed to see this, is that the desire to have an experience of feeling wrong is actually a desire to never be shown that you are wrong about the world. It's like, and to see how the ego just plays these roles, plays these things out. You believe you can think apart from God. You desire an experience of thinking apart from God and experiencing the effects, fear and desolation of thinking apart from God. So that you don't have to see that you can never think apart from God. I could just add that sentence to everything. So you don't have to see that you can never think apart from God. So let's ask the light of divine being, is it possible to think apart from God? In our direct experience, no. Jesus, do we want to have an experience of thinking apart from God? Are we willing to admit any experience of separation is a belief that is a desire to think apart from God? Because does God, let's ask God, Jesus, does God think anything? Does it think about that it's even possible to think apart from itself? Does God have those? God doesn't know what those thoughts are. That's why he keeps coming and reminding me, like he's doing right now. Don't make the miscreation real. Don't spend any time on it, he's saying. Spend no time on the feeling and all the stuff, the kerfuffling that comes up around the miscreation. The storyline, remember we went through the whole story? No. That's a delay. Diversionary technique. Wah, wah, wah. We get red alert on the Starship Enterprise. It's a red alert. Gone too far, gone too far. Turn around. Come with me. Look at the desire. Ask for a miracle. The desire for the experience, to say no to yourself. Fear and desolation of thinking apart from God. Oh, let's put that over to the one who knows. I'm willing to put everything over to the one who knows. Show me. Anything I don't want to see. He says, anything you don't want to see, you'll feel tension. That's why you start getting tired and want to take a snooze. It's something, that's what he's telling me. They're telling us, because we were talking about it and asking Jesus about it. You're starting to feel tired. There's something that you don't want to look at. Because he's reminding me again, miracles they're energizing. We're divine, powerful beings. We don't even need to sleep. Ask the light that. Do we need to sleep? I mean, take a night nap. See that that's not even necessary. It's a belief that we need to take a nap. That's deep. What he's offering, we're seeing that in this light circle, so fast, so direct. Do not pass go. I now see what he means. Do not pass go. Go directly to light for everything. No sideways, just light. And join as much as you can with your brother so they can see that you're God, you're the light. And see the light in your brother so we can see it in ourselves. Because the last thing the ego wants is to join. I love it. It's like both Teresa and Marguerite, and some, I'm sure this also, and here too. Somebody will say, oh, I don't want to join. Oh my God, I don't want to join, but I'm doing it anyway. It's like you can just hear Jesus cheering in the background. Because that's the symbol that we don't want to be joined with ourselves. Ask Jesus that. Not wanting to join means that we want to be separate from who we are. So it becomes a symbol of acceptance of divinity. The acceptance of the willingness to see what's true. The divine light cannot be denied, no matter how much we want to. Amen, Jesus. Thank you. Love from San Juan Coastal, beloveds. Happy holodeck. It's the only holodeck worth having, and Jesus is on it. Along with all our mighties.